Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks like people are here. Yay! Hi, guys. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. It's a day full of crazy meetings. How is everybody? Looks like we have 7 people so far. There might be some feedback. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I'm going to invite Joanna. Joanna's here already. Awesome. Joanna, do you want to hop on video with me? Yay! Let me see if I can make you the co-host so we can be on this together. Fingers crossed.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Actually, I don't know if I know how to do that, to be totally honest. So I might just keep you in the hot seat. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Yay. Okay. So welcome, Joanna. I'm so excited to have you here. For those of you who don't know, Joanna is officially my health coach. So she is going to help me to not eat such terrible foods and to help me get on the right track for health and wellness. But Joanna, can you just tell everybody a little bit about your business? If you guys don't recognize her, she's a part of SMU, but on the other side, the business owner side, which is kind of cool. So go ahead and share with us.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting setup. So I'm a colon hydrotherapist, and my business is called The Root Chakra, and it's located inside another business, which I own with a partner called South Bay Holistic Spa. So it's just my business, just the colon hydrotherapy. We have an esthetician and a massage therapist as well, but they're their own businesses. So it's kind of completely separate as far as the marketing will go. I specialize in cleansing and detoxing. Like Rachel said, I am a health coach, so I do walk people through whatever their goals may be. I have kind of an interesting background. I went to school for health science, so I got my bachelor's degree. So I kind of have that Western medicine background, but I continued my education in holistic health. So I kind of see both sides of the picture. So when people come into me, with medications or things that their doctors have said, I can kind of already see, I guess, where they're missing the mark. So here I am.
I'm going to grab a paper and pen, because what I'm going to be doing with this, you guys, is walking her through the same types of calls that I would take with somebody. Let's say it was someone I already knew was a qualified client, or we're doing a launch call. Sometimes this would be a discovery call if it's a big ticket client where you're actually diving into strategies. And the thing about strategies is I create them on the fly. And so it's kind of cool because when I'm on a phone call, the person usually leaves with quite a bit of value without me giving away the secret sauce all the time. So I might go a little bit more into depth for you. So I will give away the secret sauce because I want you to implement it all. But I'm just going to take some notes as we go through. But here's the biggest thing is I want you guys to kind of notice what I do and how much I talk versus how much I listen versus what kinds of questions I ask. And if you get great ideas for oh, that's a question I should be asking, write it down so that you know, okay, this is a question that Rachel asks. And I won't ask anything that's off the cuff. It's going to be stuff that I usually ask. So let's dive on in. I'm so excited.
Yay.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your business and kind of what the last year has looked like.
Okay. The last year has, well, it's just me.
Oh, got some feedback. I'm not the organizer. Can you mute? I might be able to mute somebody. I don't think I can. Shoot. Oh, well, if we hear it again, I'll have to teach you how to mute it. Sorry. Okay. So
the last year, my business, I'm an owner operator, so it's just me. So I'm seeing my clients and I'm doing everything from my own QuickBooks and accounting to obviously my social media, which needs a little help. I mean, everything from the ins and outs and ordering supplies and everything. So this last year has just kind of been a challenge because I'm a new business, a year and a half into it, so still new. I need help. I can't do everything by myself, and so I just my business has grown and it's at a point where it's okay, but I need to make more. I need to actually pay my bills and survive. Well, actually thrive, not just survive. I'm sorry. And then, so yeah, I have so much value to offer to people. And with the services that I provide right now, people are just kind of in and out because of the way that I have my schedule set. And so I want to find a way to really provide value to them outside of their appointment time with me or their service with me. How can I keep in touch with them when they're at home or throughout the week, or, they're thinking about reaching for the chocolate cake, or, so that's where I envision social media coming into play, keeping in touch with them throughout the week, reminding them, kind of motivating them as well, but also gaining new clients. I am diving into the online realm of consultations as well. It's been a dream for me to provide online courses on health. There are just so many basics that people don't know and there's so much information out there, but I feel like if I could just bring it all into a place and create a portal for my clients to just be able to log in and have this information that they can access, because it's really a very long discussion. And even for me, I'm always constantly learning. There's always new research that's coming out. So yeah.
Cool. That was actually going to be one of the first questions I was going to ask, but you answered it, is are you open to possibly shifting to an online model?
Mm-hmm.
That's yes.
Absolutely.
And then B, a leveraged model where it's not necessarily one-on-one. Would you ever be open to taking on group coaching clients?
Yes, absolutely. So currently I'm doing group coaching at the spa, but that's something that I've been wanting to do online. So because I can target only so many people locally, but there's so many more people that I can help nationally, internationally. Yeah.
How many hours are you working a week right now?
Well, it's really just half days, It's either the first 12 hours or the last 12 hours of the day.
I like that, half days. The half day definition of an entrepreneur is different than the rest of the world. Half day. So about 12 hours a day, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm in at 8, I'm out at 8. Kind of thing. It's not like I'm with clients throughout the whole day. I definitely have some downtime. The beauty of the nature of my business is that I don't actually have to be in the room with my clients. So I go in, I set them up, and then I just check on them every 15 to 20 minutes. So I have downtime. I'm continuing my education. I'm learning social media. So I'm doing a lot of things on my downtime. So I do have time to, I just need guidance. I really just need somebody to kind of talk with me back and forth, hear my ideas out, somebody who has the knowledge of what I can achieve with those ideas or what I can do with them. And then kind of, this is what I need from you, and then I'll plug it in and yeah.
Okay. 2 questions. If you don't know the answers to them, I know you know the answer to one. What is the average hourly rate of a client right now?
On average, probably 100 to 150.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually, I think, for somebody who is like wanting a thriving business or a business that is like sustainable,
mm-hmm.
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. It can be better.
I have ideas. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And then another question I have is, do you know what the average lifetime value is of a customer or client? Or another way to phrase it is, how long do you usually work with someone for?
Years. I've seen some clients for almost a decade. As long as I've been doing this, they keep coming back. It's not, it's not something that you come in and you do the service and then you're fixed. You really, if you want long-term results, you have to keep coming back, or you have to keep reaching out, and I have to keep telling you what to do, or usually people need support. A lot of times I have the answers, but even if I give them to you, you're not going to implement them. So it's really working with them one-on-one, and as they're achieving their goals, the objectives change, and so we work towards new goals too. So very rarely do I see one person once and then I never see them again. Oftentimes it's for years on end. And the time, what I love the most is that I have clients that I'll see once or twice a week for maybe a few months, and then I don't see them for a couple of months, and then I won't see them again for 4 months or 6 months, and then I won't see them again for a year. So and then when they're coming back, they feel better. They have all of this energy. Everything's changed. So yeah.
So your clients have pretty dramatic results.
If they stick to it, yeah.
Yes. So when they follow your guidance,
Yes.
they have really great results.
They do. Mm-hmm.
Yes. What do you have in place in terms of testimonials so far?
I have Yelp. I have clients who tell me how much change I've brought to them. I don't have like a physical testimony book. I just have my reviews online. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just going to ask quite a few more questions. And then the reason being, because I use all of this to put together the full strategy, which is kind of fun. Okay, so right now, what is your cost per acquisition of a client? And the way that you would know that best is like, let's say you put coupons out. So you send out mailers and you pay $2,000 and you get 10 clients. Something like that. Or if you're doing Facebook ads, it's a little bit easier to track. Do you have any idea so far what your cost per acquisition is?
So referrals are my best source of client acquisition, and I give a $5 discount to people when they refer somebody in, and then the person that they referred in get $5 off. So it costs me $10, I guess. It doesn't really cost me anything. I'm giving them a discount. So it's not like I'm spending money, I'm just getting less money. I've done the postcards, and I've done print advertising, and it's really more about referral is the best source. It really is. So yeah.
The clients that see you for years on end, over the course of a year, how many times would you say you see them?
It really depends. Within a year.
A range would be cool. That'd be
So within a year, I may see them 12, 24, or 36 times. Those are kind of the average. People are usually coming in monthly or every other week or every week, depending on where they're at with their health.
Okay. And how many referrals do you see? Like, how often do you see referrals?
Every day.
Okay. Okay, tell me a little bit about what you have done so far online, because I know you're just getting started with the potential. There's so much potential. It's really, if you guys are listening to this right now, this is very, very exciting to me, because I'm sitting back and I'm like, oh my gosh, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Holy cow, this has the potential to be an incredibly profitable and wildly successful business. And I don't say that lightly, because I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. This is something I genuinely see. And I know that what Joanna needs is like the guidance. What are the first steps? Like, what is going to actually move the needle? Okay, so what is the current status of digital marketing for you? How much are you doing? What have you done and liked, and what have you done and not liked?
Well, what I don't like is that I don't have a content calendar, and it's something that I've been trying to put together. And right now I'm really only active on Facebook, and even then, can you still hear me? Kind of froze. Yeah. Okay. And even then, so I'm posting as I go. It's not daily. It might be every other day. Sometimes I might not post for so long. I like it and I don't like it because the field that I'm in is kind of controversial. So a lot of the things that I post can bring up controversy on a post. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, I guess. On Instagram, I find that I get a lot of engagement if I post on there, but I'm not very active on there. I'm just like overwhelmed with everything else running my business. So I've done live videos on Facebook that were really nice. I have some girlfriends that I would consider, I guess, influencers. They're beautiful women that other women look up to them. They want to be just like them. I want to look like you. I want to do what you do. What do you do? What are your secrets? So I've invited them to our spa. I told them, hey, I'll comp you a service if you just check in on whatever social media platform of your choice. So that has been probably the most successful social media strategy that I've kind of come up with so far. One girl did a live video. She wasn't even in the video. I was talking about the sauna, and all of these comments started pouring in. Where is this? Tell me more. Book me an appointment. So that was really nice. Back in April, we did an open house, and we live streamed throughout the open house. That got some pretty good engagement, a lot of views to our page. That's kind of it. I'd love to have like an email marketing sequence as well. I feel like that's a lot of work, and I don't even know where to begin with that, but I think I could provide a lot of value with that as well.
Absolutely. So when it comes to implementing everything that you hope and dream, and you know how we have like all these ideas and it's like they sound great, and the reality is it's like one day, one step at a time. Like, what's the most important step today that I can do? What would you say has been the biggest barrier? What's been the biggest thing that gets in your way from you actually implementing everything?
I guess I just don't know where to begin. Like for Facebook, like I'm stumped on the content calendar. I know you have the Excel one online, but I just don't get it. Like, how do you plan out your entire month or your entire week on this tiny little spreadsheet? Where do you get your links from? Where do you get your content from? I know that there's a better way.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I have the majority of the puzzle, and I'm missing these like really important pieces. And if I just had them, it would make things a lot easier.
Yep.
So, and I guess targeting too.
Okay. So, someone's got a loud background. Hey, guys, okay, perfect. We got it. Okay. So this might sound kind of crazy, but based on what you're telling me, I'm looking at this business model and I can see the natural progression from in person to online, and I can see the massive profitable potential of online. Mm-hmm. What you're telling me is that this is so crazy that you charge $100 to $150 an hour. So let's just say 100. Mm-hmm. And clients might see you anywhere from 12 to 36 times in a year. Mm-hmm. That means each of your customers, your clients each year is worth $1,200 to $3,600. And you are only paying $10 to acquire them, which is unheard of. You need to be leveraged significantly more, because in order to scale up and grow the way you should be able to, you need to have more dollar per hour, hands down. And so a couple things come to mind. For the people that are already in your sphere of influence, you can always honor the same pricing until you start to fill up, or just raise it slightly and still keep them at a price point that makes sense. Because I remember when I used to take clients in the hair industry, I felt really loyal to those people. Like, I didn't want to just keep raising my prices and then miss out on a great relationship that I really loved.
Right.
But for people moving forward, I would recommend going to $200 an hour, like across the board for people in person. And here's why. Because that's your new one-on-one rate. And if somebody wants you at $100 an hour, it has to be group coaching. So what are you charging right now for group coaching?
It's even less than the one-on-one, because they're in groups, so it's less of my time. I can't really give you a number because I sell it as a package with supplements and services and everything. Probably 25 an hour maybe, because they're getting an hour a week with me in a group, and then there's several people in the group. So that's 4 hours a month. And then I'm probably charging them about $100 for the weekly meeting. Mhm.
Is anyone listening to this and you're like, this seems so much more valuable than $25 an hour? If you are, I want you to comment in the chat, because what I'm listening to is that if people take what you say seriously, they rave. They not rave like party rave. They're like raving about your services. They get drastic results. They're telling their friends. Referrals are one of your greatest sources of new clients.
Mhm.
So there are two reasons why increasing your prices is like mandatory, needs to happen. Like, here's why. Because one of two things are happening. Either people aren't listening, right? They're not that invested and they're not listening. And then they go out and just splurge on chocolate cake. And then you don't get the raving review. They say, oh, I tried that whole holistic thing. It didn't work. Well, and you are sitting there like wanting to pull your hair out because you're like, you did not listen to what I said. You didn't take any of my recommendations. And so by raising your prices for group coaching and for your one-on-ones, you're going to get people who are invested, who take it more seriously, who are then going to have 10 friends who are going to be invested. And suddenly you have this ripple effect of people who actually respect you, your time, your recommendations. They believe that you're going to get them results. And there are a couple of different ways to justify that, like not only for the clients, but for yourself. Because when we raise our prices, it's so scary. Like every single time you're like, oh my gosh, can I charge $5,000 a month? I don't know if I can. Like, but then what you do is you stack your wins. So that's going to be a huge part of this. You stack your wins. So I've worked with people such as, and then those that you can reveal, like the people who went on lives, you can share their names and be like, this is someone I've worked with and had great results. B, your testimonials are going to be one of the biggest opportunities that's untapped still. So I think that one video testimonial from someone whose life was changed would literally be worth its weight in gold. Right. I mean, so many people struggle with their eating habits and with their overall health. I mean, like, hello, I'm one of them. And if I saw a video testimonial of somebody who's like, I'm suffering from adrenal fatigue, or I was suffering from adrenal fatigue. I was this, and this. That's what my life looked like. And then I met Joanna and she implemented these things with me. And this is where I am today. I would be like, sign me up. This says more to me than some website where I don't know if everything's fake. That's like so valuable. What do you think? What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah. I've been wanting to do video testimonials for forever, and many people have suggested that. My only concern is because of, I guess, the sensitivity and the nature of my business, the colon hydrotherapy. Some people, it's not really something they want to talk about or share, or know, they don't want their friends or family knowing that they're in doing that. So that has been, I'm honestly surprised I get referrals. It's not something people talk about or want to talk about. It's uncomfortable. It's personal, and it's not like people really talk about how constipated they are all the time or things like that. So, go ahead.
You might be surprised. I think a lot of times people don't know until you ask. So it might surprise everyone. I'm very comfortable talking about bowel movements, very comfortable talking about it. So sorry if that is gross to you. That's not gross to me. I could talk about it on video all day. So it might just take the one person. The one person who's like, I had an amazing transformation, and they don't even have to say the word poop. Do you know what I mean? They can just talk about how I was struggling because I was tired and I was constipated and everything felt wrong, but not focusing on the poop side of it, focusing on the transformation. And this is how I feel today. They can even leave that word out. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and then another thought I have too is if you ask 10 people, you might get one. And that one is worth its weight in gold when you set up marketing the right way around it. So I know, for myself, I want the transformation, and I'll be happy to do a video testimonial when we get it, because you saw my before. It's so bad. And when you saw all the people commenting on my post talking about them having similar symptoms, they were exhausted, or they're not, they're eating junk, they're not getting nutrients. That means that every single one of those people is a potential referral, plus all the people that didn't comment on that, but are thinking the same thing.
Right.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. I was actually surprised at my lead magnet poll. The one that I thought wouldn't get any votes.
Is it someone?
Someone's not
Hey
me.
guys, mute your phones and computers, thanks.
Sorry, I thought my phone was off. My mic was off.
Perfect, thank you.
With my lead magnet poll, the one that got the most votes was the one that stated constipation, bloating, gas, and I thought people were just going to be kind of thrown off by that, and that was the one that people were attracted to the most. So that was really interesting. So yeah,
definitely. So that's one of the first thoughts I have. What do you guys think about it so far? You can feel free to ask any questions or give me your feedback. Don't you all feel like she should be charging more for group coaching and for one-on-one? And I believe that the testimonials will unlock that, because people pay a lot more money for things that are way less credible. A lot more. Mm-hmm. Like when you quoted your hourly to me, Paul and I had a conversation before that, and he's like, how much is this going to be? Like $5,000 or like what? And to be honest, my gut was like, even if it is $5,000, it's my health. And this is really important because it's affecting everything. So you might be surprised.
It's kind of an internal battle because, I mean, with money, I just love helping people. If I could do this for free, I would. So, and when I was a business owner, I was like, okay, I need to be okay with taking money from people. And I had to kind of change my view on money and, you know, start viewing it as the more money I make, the more I'm servicing others.
Yes.
So, yeah, just kind of, and I also don't want to place a barrier in front of somebody. You know, if this is something that they want and they're committed to, you know, I don't want money to be something that's in their way. But like you said, if it's something that you really want to do, you can't really put a price on it. So, yeah. So
I love that. And then here's the other thought too. There are a lot of people who can't afford you. The person who can't afford you at $200 often can't afford you at $100. Mm-hmm. I found that sometimes, like, I'll quote two prices and they're pretty different. Like it'll be $3,500 and $5,000, and that person will say like, oh my gosh, no, my budget's like $500. Mm-hmm. So it's like that difference that I felt was so perceived wasn't that different to them. It was either in their budget or it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And if it's in their budget, it's just a matter of which one. So it's either what makes more sense for me right now. Is it the group coaching or is it the one-on-one? Now, here's where you can justify everything and feel really good about it. When you start to go into this online world, which is really fun, mm-hmm. is having lead magnets that make sense and deliver value. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you're going to be like, cool, I just delivered value to somebody for free. And so now whether they choose to work with me or not, they leave and they're like, oh, wow, that was helpful. Mm-hmm. From there, after the lead magnet, the next step is the email nurturing sequence, which ideally is 7 days of emails, which I will be teaching you in the list building party. That one is going to be really fun. So I'll make sure that you get all those files. I'm just taking a couple of notes. I might share with you my nurturing sequence too, so you can get an idea for how it tells a story and how you can add testimonials into it. So then in your email nurturing sequence and your lead magnet, you're delivering value. But then what you can start to move to is online coaching a lot more, which is going to make sense when you do group coaching. But by building your list on autopilot all the time, when you launch the group coaching, people are going to be like, oh, I'm so excited about this. And it's affordable. Mm-hmm. You will get to a point where you have to charge even more for your one-on-ones so that people are like, oh, she's normally $1,000 to work one-on-one with her, but I get to get a taste of that for $100. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But then in reality, you're working with a ton of people and you're doing them a service by connecting them with other people mm-hmm. who are all in the same space. So you could create a Facebook community for all of those people that you are coaching in group coaching. Mm-hmm. Possibly. Those are my first couple of thoughts. I would recommend for you then, number one, raising all your prices. Okay. Sorry. It's mm-hmm. good.
I just raised my prices in January too.
You totally have to raise them again because
You know, the gal, there's a gal in San Francisco who does what I do. So I used to charge 85 for a service. Now I charge 95, between 95 and 119, depending on what they're coming in for. And then there's a gal in San Francisco who does exactly what I do, except provides a lot less value because I went to her just to kind of scope it out. $195 for the same service, but she doesn't even chat with you. She just provides the service. And whenever a client comes in, I actually chat with them and I give them some advice. I was like, okay, wow. So I could do less and get paid more. But
yeah. And knowing you're going to still do the same thing, but just charge more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So doesn't that make you feel better about what you offer already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So number one, definitely raise your prices. And that's just a part of becoming a sustainable business. It's hard and it stinks. And there will be people who can't afford to work with you. And that's why that's when you say, well, that's okay. I send out a weekly email where I deliver some type of value. Now, this is where the second part comes in, and it's value, value, value. So the value, 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 and I have all these notes for you. So I'll write a lot of this down and put it together in a nice little strategy pack for you. So value, value, value. The lead magnet is going to be huge. So when you do your Facebook Lives, you can promo your lead magnet there. So add it to the description or say, I know people don't like these, but I don't really care because they work. You can say comment case study or comment cheat sheet to get it. And then I'll send you the link. And then you comment below with the link once a bunch of people say yes. Mm-hmm. So then from there, everybody's getting value. Everybody's getting the lead magnet. Everybody's getting the email nurturing, the 7-day nurturing sequence, and then the weekly email. And all of a sudden, people are going to be, when you launch the online group coaching, like intentionally, people are going to be raving about it. They're going to be like, I have to get in. This is perfect. I've been following her for 8 months or 8 weeks or whatever it is. And I love her emails. I'm like, I want to work with her. So the third thought that I have, and this is kind of fun, the second you said controversy, because you are in a controversial space, that's so good. You're not boring. Like, it's hard to be marketable when you're not memorable. Mm-hmm. And so the biggest thing with your controversy is that you're repelling and attracting. You're repelling anyone who doesn't align with what it is that you offer, and you're attracting anyone who has a need for what you offer. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that the majority of your clients right now, when they come in, they're already market aware of Western medication, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, you're against Western medication?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're market aware of your stance on Western medication, right?
For the most part, yeah. Some people. Well, I generally have two different types of clients. I have people who struggle with their health, and their health education is little to none. I've had clients ask me why fried foods are bad for them, for examtle, things like that. So just to kind of give you an idea. And then I have clients who are complete health nuts, and they're like, I don't have to sell them on anything. They already know the benefits of everything. They're thoroughly educated on the subject. So I kind of see two completely different sides of the spectrum.
And the cool thing is with different lead magnets, you can attract those two different sides of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. There's a page I want you to look at. This is a page that I manage. And this is what happens when you kind of tap into the power of controversy a little bit. Mm-hmm. You can do friendly Facebook Lives where you're like, here's why fried foods are bad for you. That would be a great Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. Here's why the FDA covers this up. And just so you know, if you guys are listening, we're not going to go controversial in our conversations about this because we're going to respect the different political stances. This is just about how we can best serve.
We'll be here all day.
Yeah. So there's a client that I manage social media for, and it is called The Truth About ADHD. Anyone watching this can
You've
seen our ads?
I've seen your ads.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, along with, the truth about ADHD, the truth about vaccines, the truth about cancer. I've seen all of those ads.
The truth about vaccines and the truth about cancer are not me. Those are someone else in the inner circle.
Okay.
And I'm not the owner of this brand. So I just want to make that clear. I don't ever go political on anything. But the truth about ADHD is an example of a client that I want to take viral globally. And he actually has to take a controversial stance on this in order to share his solution, which is kind of interesting. So just know that there's always like a little more than what you see and what meets the eye. But what we've done with it is we took the page from 0 followers to, I think we're over 50,000 now in the last 2 months.
Wow.
Through the power of growing his fan page with page likes in his aware market first. Then we put out content that the aware market is most likely to resonate with. So when you're first growing, I want you to think of it as, to start, I'm going to market to people who I'm going to get the heck yes from, because then all of a sudden you have cheerleaders on everything, and it's not just trolls or people who are like, that's not true, I don't agree with that. You want to be bringing in as many or more people who support that belief that Western medication isn't the right solution necessarily. And then you bring them in first, because then when you do your outreach, they're going to be like, oh, wow, there's the social proof. There's the people who are supporting it, not she put up a post and 10 people attacked it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So check it out and you'll see that's one where we're growing the page likes, but then every single post on that entire page is organic right now. Every single one. And we get anywhere from, sometimes we get like 25 likes on one and I'm like, oh, that stinks. But we have one where I think we got over 900 likes organically and like 500 shares. Wow. Because that's what we did. We first focused on bringing in the aware market and then putting content out that aware market likes.
You already sold. Where do I sign?
I'm not for hire. So those 3 things are, I think, the most important things, so that you are, number 1, valuing yourself correctly, one-on-one, in person. And the goal, I think, ultimately is that you only have to meet in person with your favorites. Do you know what I mean? Because nothing is more draining than meeting with someone where you're like, wow, that didn't bring me to life. That was tough. That is so exhausting. So meet with your favorites only, one-on-one. Either they get special pricing or people are at some point paying you enough where even if you don't like working with them, you're like, that's okay. I make a lot of money and I'm able to still help them. I don't know if that makes sense. What do you guys think so far? Comment in the chat. Number 2, value. List building party is going to be really helpful to you so that you feel like, okay, this isn't that bad. People either have the option of working with me one-on-one or in group coaching. So both are, even though you might not think it, both are super affordable for anyone who is going to invest into taking their health seriously. There are so many people who charge so much more for this, like crazy high prices. That's why Paul said, is this going to be $5,000? He's like, can you help me budget for this? And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. Don't worry. So the lead magnet and email nurturing, you're delivering value, and then you're going to have a raving community that stands behind you and shares with their friends. So number 2, one thought that I have is the get $5 off and get $5 off, the referral for $10. When you increase your prices to $200, consider maybe, since you have that buffer now of $100 that you didn't used to make, do you know what I mean? I want you to consider that as like more valuable, the referral, because every single person has the potential to refer you to somebody. And we now know that your average customer is going to be worth probably $1,200 to $3,600. We don't know, but that's a high ticket customer over the course of a year. Plus, if they stay for years, it starts to make a ton of sense to increase your acquisitions on the higher price point, right? What do you think? Yeah. Like when you double your prices, I would even consider doing 25 and 25 for the referrer and the referee, because then you're still making $50 more per hour than you were just on that first session, but there's a bigger incentive for people to refer. So ultimately people start pouring in even at that higher price point. And then month 2, you're like, this is cool. So what do you think so far?
Well, like doubling my prices for a service, I don't know how like my current clients would do. And then not only that, it's I have competition in the area. Not if people are really educated on what they're doing, it's not really competition because the equipment that I use is different. I'm the only person in the South Bay that has the equipment that I use. Next closest place is San Francisco, which is about an hour north, or Berkeley, which is over an hour north as well. Yep. So if you know what you're coming in for, then the people who know, I don't see that being a problem, but a lot of people have no idea that there's different systems or that there's differences. And so those people, you know, I haven't done a Groupon because I don't want those kinds of customers, because generally people who buy a Groupon are people who want discounts and then they come in and want more discounts, etc. And so it's just not my target market, I guess. And I guess it's a little bit of fear. And I mean, I had the same fear back in January when I raised my prices $10, and I was like, oh my gosh, this $10 going to make such a huge difference. And it really didn't, but raising my prices another $100, I don't know.
So don't raise the prices for everyone. Like, only raise the price for people moving forward. Yeah. And the reason that you want to do that is because you want to carve out space for the online side where it's able to be leveraged as much as you want, if that makes sense. Because imagine if you could get 20 people on a call, on group coaching calls online, and you did 20 people at $100 an hour. All of a sudden now your hourly is worth $2,000, and you want to carve out as much of that space as humanly possible. Hey, everyone who's listening to this, if Joanna were to go all in and market herself online, how long do you think it would take for her to get 20 people into group coaching? If she had a lead magnet nurturing sequence and started to do Facebook Lives to promote it, how long do you think it would take her to build her list and then launch a group coaching program that had 20 people at $200 or at $100 an hour? What's your gut instinct? I have a thought. We'll see what everyone says. Less than a week. Who else? 1 month, a month. Definitely less than a month. I would say give yourself 4 weeks at the most to sell out a group coaching hour at $2,000 an hour, because now you're serving 20 people at $100 an hour from the luxury of their own home. That's a service to them. They don't have to travel. I don't like traveling. I will never meet with people in person because it stresses me out. So like just commutes, because I don't like driving. So you're doing them a service. Does that kind of blow your mind to see like the estimations as to how fast that could happen?
I know with the right strategy, it's possible. And I've been wanting to do this for a year, literally a year, which is why I've been in SMU and trying to teach myself everything. And it's like, how much is creating an email sequence going to cost me? How much is I don't even know where I would begin for an online group, things like that. So I just don't know where to begin. Like, I want to do it. It's something that has been on my mind for the last year, and I've been wanting to do. I just don't know how to get the ball rolling on it.
So here are a couple questions I have. I'm going to put together the full strategy and the steps that you need to take for you. Okay. So it's going to be like, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, and don't move to the next one until you accomplish the first one. And that helps. That helps every single one of us, because you get so frozen. But what I would love to do is hear from anyone who's watching this. What do you think Joanna should focus on first? Or what ideas do you have that she should focus on? And then I may add them to the strategy. And then what I'll do is I'll do my typical follow-up email, which I don't want you to come on as a client. I don't want you to have to do that. I want you to feel empowered or find some way that this makes sense for you to get this happening. I believe it could happen so fast. Would you be okay with me putting that strategy in the Facebook group?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. What suggestions do you guys have? Weekly Facebook Live show is the first focus to grow email list. I love that. Once a week, even if it's 10 minutes. Okay. What else? And even if I've already said it and you're like, I love that idea, lives on Facebook. Yep. Even if I've already said it and you just think it's a great idea, feel free to share it. Oh, this is awesome. Yep, increase her prices, create her ads, grow her list, prepare a course, or set up Zoom and start doing Facebook Lives and advertising for group course. Cool. And the cool thing too is like with this type of model, you don't necessarily have to prepare something big. You know, it's not where people come in and they have to like log in and access everything. You can just do these calls where maybe you have a couple slides or you just come on and chat with them and lead them through a new focus each week.
Okay.
Which is really fun.
Yeah.
Let's see, IG stories, course outline, and Zoom calls for the course. Promote testimonials, maybe through the video. I love this. Yep. You guys are gold. Okay, so now here's where we get to come in and remove the overwhelm. And so we're going to create for you a list of the order of what you need to do. And I'm going to make sure that it's something that helps you to put blinders up. Mm-hmm. So you're not like, oh my gosh, do I need to be on Pinterest? You're like, no, that doesn't come till later. Like we're working through this list first. It's like when you and I started working together and I'm like, I want to dive in and go paleo. And you're like, okay, let's be real. We're drinking water. And I have been.
Yay.
You know how like one thing at a time is more manageable. And then you're like, okay, I've got this down. Okay, I can go on to the next thing.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll give you the full strategy, the full set of ideas, and then you're going to feel 100% ready. Now, guys, if this was a client of mine, I would, or someone I wanted to become a client, I would not say that I was going to create a list of all the strategies. I would say, this is exactly where I take it from here. I give them the strategies on the call, but then I say, so I've got a bunch of strategies in mind, but at this point, it really comes down to implementing them. So what I'd love to do is to put together a couple of ideas for potentially working together. Can I send that to you in the next day or two? And you know what they say? Yes, I want a proposal. I'll be looking forward to it. And asking permission, somehow it psychologically triggers people to say like, yeah, I want that. Like, yes, please. And then I say, and then we could get started based on which package makes the most sense for you. So that's where I take it. And they say, please do send me the email, please. Like, don't forget. And I don't. So that's really, really helpful. And then I send them the 2 different tiers for working together. So if Joanna was going to become a client of mine, I would say, so everything we've discussed on this entire call, I can implement all of that, or I can implement the most crucial portions of that. So you can say, I want the whole enchilada, or I want to focus on what's going to move the needle most in my business. And wouldn't you say, Joanna, like if you were on this call with me, you would have heard all these different things. And even though it's all valuable, you leave and you're overwhelmed, right? Mm-hmm. And if I wasn't giving you the outline, what would your thought be? You'd be like,
and be like, I still have all the same great ideas. Where do I begin?
Yes, exactly. And if I said, I can do all of that for you, let's say you did have the budget or you were close to having the budget, you'd probably say yes, wouldn't you? Oh, yeah. For someone to say, I want to take all of this off your hands so you can just focus on what moves the needle in your business day to day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works.
I've been asking for.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, that is what kind of happens. You deliver all of these strategies live, and it's so cool because you are delivering value. And some people are going to take those strategies, and I'm not even giving away the secret sauce. Like if Joanna wasn't in SMU, she'd be like, okay, but how do I do a Facebook Live? And I'd be like, join SMU. No, I'm just kidding. If Joanna was asking questions like, how do I build an email list? One of 2 responses happens. These are people, geez, that's loud. It's distracting me. You hear that?
What is it?
I don't know. Is someone skateboarding? I'm trying to guess what that is. I don't know. So one of 2 responses happens when I kind of talk through this. I'm not giving away the secret sauce behind everything. The only reason that Joanna already knows it all, the only reason you know it all is because you've intentionally immersed yourself in some of this. Mm-hmm. So people are either going to say one of two things. They're either going to say, oh yeah, I totally know how to do that. And in that case, all of this made sense to them, right? When I'm saying like build your email list, build the lead magnet, do a weekly Facebook Live, if this all makes sense to them, they're not necessarily likely going to become a client today. But if they say, oh man, I don't even know where to start, or I don't know how to do that, I've heard of it, or whatever it is, that's somebody who's more likely to become a client. So you're not teaching them how to use Facebook. You're not teaching them how to build a lead magnet. You are informing them of exactly what they need, and then they decide either it's important to them right now or it's not. So look at this. I'm going to put together a list of strategies for you. It's going to be fairly easy. The list building party is going to be really helpful for it all because it's going to teach you like the first couple of steps so you can get that going without disrupting your life too much. So are you excited?
Very.
Yes. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we can make a big difference in Joanna's business? You got the skateboarder over there. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is.
So how, what would you price this at? If I wanted the whole enchilada, or if I just wanted, the things that are going to matter the most, what would like your two pricings be? How long would I be working with you, for example? So.
Oh, that's a great question. So let me just look at this. If I were to just focus on the main thing that I think is going to move the needle, which is your funnel, your Facebook ads, and your lead magnet, just those three things, I would charge $3,500 a month. If you wanted full content marketing and aggressive growth of your Facebook page too, I would charge $5,000 a month. Now, anyone here can probably chime in and say like, I'll do it for less. You know what I mean? Or like, here's what I would charge. Mm-hmm. My prices are high right now. And I know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're looking for a specific type of client.
Yeah. So isn't it kind of cool to see though how that comes together, guys? Yeah, $3,500 or $5,000 a month. The client that I'm working with, the one with the content marketing, the truth about ADHD, that's a $5,000 a month client. So we do some big things. Okay, ooh, good questions are coming in. I think this is so cool to see how your mind works. I definitely see the potential for her. Elizabeth says, I'm wondering if Joanna was interested only in strategy sessions and she would implement, how much would these sessions cost for one of us to charge? Oh man, that's a really good question. Okay, so if I were one of you guys, I would probably charge between $200 and $300 an hour for strategy sessions. And Joanna, if you got to sit with somebody who did that where you implemented and you had homework every single week or month or every 2 weeks, would you pay $200 to $300 a strategy session hypothetically?
Yeah, I would. Mm-hmm. And that's more doable for me financially, but I also feel like hiring a social media manager, there's a lot that I know that I can do myself, and then there's a lot that I know I can't do myself. So that would be probably my ideal situation because I can take over a lot of, and not only that, but a lot of the things that need to be done, I feel like need to be done by me. Like there's no way you could do a Facebook Live for me. There's no way you can like type out what I want to say or etc. So yeah, and it would be more affordable. So
that's such a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Kim says, how long would it take for clients to see results? How many months should they book? Oh yeah, that was the second part of the question. At this point, all of my clients see results by month 3 at the max. I like to see results between month 1 and month 2 because I know realistically if we don't see big results by month 3, the chances are most clients are going to leave. And so that's tough. Like we try to always brace people for this could take 3 months to find our groove together, but not everybody's ready for that. Some people understand the value of that. And so my personal goal is always to see results month 1. And if I can't see results month 1, I'm like, we either need to change things now, like everything, like we have to look at your funnel, your lead magnet, your email automation. Let's look at everything because I'm not going to continue to throw money at something that isn't working. How long should they book with me for? That's a really good question. At this point, I have pretty much long-term clients, except for the one I secured the other day, where we could work together probably for 6 to 12 months. I have a couple clients who never want to leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just keep working together. How long would a client usually sign up for? How many months and how often in a month? Ooh, strategy sessions. I'd probably do 12 weeks. Yeah, probably 12 weeks. And then they can decide if they want to do it once a week or every other week. I think that would be really, really valuable. But I don't actually have my clients sign contracts that are in terms of length with me. But you guys can if you want. Joanna, do your clients sign contracts?
No, they don't. And all of the programs, like even if they were to buy supplements or anything like that, are month to month. And everything changes from month to month. I mean, you may feel like a new person by the end of the month, and you may want to move on to something else. So I don't schedule something that far out because your body changes quickly.
That's really cool. And I feel the same way sometimes with business. Like, the truth about ADHD, we'll probably be working together for the next 6 months, maybe 12 tops. But once this launch is done, we're done with it, you know? And I get those referrals. They're not necessarily going to have a need for me down the road. And I recognize that, you know? A lot of my clients, you can get things set up, and sometimes they're like, okay, I think I've got it from here. And then they might wait a couple weeks, and then they might contact you and say, hey, I thought I had it. I don't. I need help. So.
And then I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you, and I think you mentioned it's really mostly creative and trial and error, but how do you figure out your target to market once you have all of these strategies together? Like, for example, for the Facebook ads, who would you market? Who would you target? And how do you figure that out? How do you come up with that?
Ooh, okay, so who is the most influential in the anti-Western medication space and the holistic space? Who is the most influential?
There's a lot of people. I mean, there's like people in specific niches. There's like anti-vaxxers, and there's people who are like all about the keto, and there's people who are about the paleo. And
I test out all three. Do you know what I mean? I would test out each one with a different thing. I would focus on what is going to be the easiest. Like, what's the low-hanging fruit?
Right.
And if it's paleo, start with the paleo audience. But don't just target people who like paleo, because it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, target the people who follow the influencers in the space who are most likely to also appreciate what you offer.
Okay.
That's where I would start. Think about books that people who are paleo might like. And I'm not saying paleo is the easiest of those three. You know which one is going to be the easiest of those three. That's how I do it, though. I'm like, okay, I don't want to target the biggest thing. I want to target the people the books, the products, the interests that my target market is most likely to follow. So is it Food Babe, or is Food Babe a joke? You know what I mean? Like, you know whether or not they follow her. I don't know the paleo influencers as much, except for like one. Yeah. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then brain dump who to target. But we'll get into that in Facebook ads on day 5 of the list building party. Cool. How do you feel? A little bit excited, a little bit nervous?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah, it's just a lot of work, I guess.
Yeah.
On my end, like, even if I were to hire you out, it's I don't imagine that you would be writing my emails for me for the sequence, right?
Some people can.
Oh, they can?
Yeah, some people are really good at that. It just depends on the person that you work with, which is really cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just feel like I still have a lot of work to do, but if I just need to implement it and do the right thing. Yeah.
It's going to be so good. Think about it. Like, when you get everything up and running, you could be 2 to 4 weeks away from having exactly what you hoped it would be, or even on a smaller scale, maybe on a bigger scale. Who knows? Kind of cool.
Exciting.
I know. I'm excited for you guys. This is such a huge, I want to say real fast, thank you to Joanna for being here today. This has been so beneficial for everybody, but also when you get this strategy, you're going to see how doable it is. And I literally look at all these numbers, and I look at your strategies and how much room there is for growth. And to me, this looks like an incredibly profitable business that's going to explode. And I don't say that lightly. So that's good news. Yay. Okay, I'll let you all go. I hope you all have such an amazing day. Watch for the write-up from me. Definitely not today, because today is like crazy booked all day. But then I will be writing that up and tagging Joanna in it in the group. And if you have thoughts or questions or ideas, feel free to comment on it. And Joanna, if you have questions on that too, you can definitely either message me or ask it publicly in the group. So bye, everyone. Bye, Joanna.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you, guys.
Bye.